Alrighty, so you are here today because you are interested in virtual and augmented reality. The three apps that we are going to be working with is first Nearpod for the virtual reality part, and then AR Maker, and we might get to Reality Composer, but hopefully Nearpod and AR Maker for sure. So those should be in your self-service, those apps, and they are available for students. Those students that got the new iPads, they will be able to do augmented reality. Those students the younger students, I think K and first, if I'm correct, they might still have the older iPads, but they could still do virtual reality on those as well. So let's dive into it. And first of all, let's talk about virtual reality. So virtual reality, when that comes to mind, I think of people like wearing those virtual goggles and they're just in a different world, and that's virtual reality. So the use of some kind of tech tool to stimulate a different environment. They are completely immersed in that environment, or as so they think so, as what they see, and it kind of shuts out the physical world. So they're either looking through a lens or through goggles and putting themselves in a new environment. So that's virtual reality for you. And let's just look at some examples. There is, and I know some of you are on your iPads, so these examples will work best on a mobile device. I'll go ahead and put these in the chat if you're on an iPad on Zoom. And if not, then use the QR readers to scan. And let's just play around with these. There's a one about Mars. And there is one about Italy, and that Nearpod lesson, it should be self-paced, so you should be able to access that. And those two links are in the chat. I'm gonna try to go to the Mars one. If you do go to the Mars one, you might get a pop-up that says to set your mobile version, request mobile version. And all you have to do is go to this A up here and look for request mobile website. So we'll allow that. And it should let you enter into your 360 area. So I think you're in Mars.
-5, 4, 3, 2, main engine start. Zip and off. Yes, 5.
Yeah, if one doesn't work, try the other just to get the experience of some kind of virtual reality. How's everyone else doing? Is it working?
I'm gonna be like a little kid in a candy shop with this thing. Have you guys done it?
Stand
it's like
up, move around.
I'm like on Mars right now.
I'm in Italy.
Ooh.
This resource was just shared with me yesterday, the Mars one from
Really?
Maria Aragon, art teacher. Yeah, and
so, I did it last year when we first went into whatever that was called, you know, where we're in now, digital learning or remote learning, whatever. I put it as one of my resources for my kids, but I had never done it with my iPad. I just did it on my computer.
Yeah. So on Nearpod, if you have a Nearpod account, it's free. There's a free version. There's a paid version, of course, but the free version has lots and lots of virtual reality lessons. Sometimes I just assign a virtual reality lesson for like a brain break or something to get kids up and like moving around. And so, yeah, you can explore all those virtual reality lessons. They're fun. And if you just Google virtual reality sites, like you can find probably anything or anywhere. One of the apps, and I don't think this is in self-service yet, but if need be, you can request it, is Sites for VR. And that one has some great different sites. It's an app that takes you straight to, no ads involved, straight to VR. If you have a phone, you can put it into VR goggles and see it a little more real in the goggles. So that's called Sites for VR. We do have Merge Cube goggles to rent. Currently, we're not renting, or are we calling it renting, Rose? What do we call it? Yeah, to borrow, I guess. And so once we get back in the classroom, those would be available to borrow for students. And we're hoping to get more, maybe a class set coming soon, a virtual reality class set, hopefully. You can continue playing. I'm just going to show you an example here that I did last year. This was a 3rd grade class, and this ADE from Australia, his name is Paul Hamilton. It's his hobby. AR is his hobby, VR. He created an app with virtual reality. He wrote this book, If I Were a Wizard, and it's a coding book, but it's also a little storytelling book. And so I read this book to this class, and he made this app that went along with it. And they actually got to go into the story and see where the character went, got to kind of interact with the book and the setting of the book. So it was really fun. They're walking around like class and just getting really involved with that book. So that's an example of virtual reality in a class and kind of connecting it to a book. And his name, if you want to even probably just Google him or see his YouTube channel, he is amazing. I actually just went to one of his sessions yesterday, Paul Hamilton, and I think I forgot the Al in his name when I just put it in the chat just now. Paul Hamilton. You might want to check my spelling on that, Rose. So that's an example of virtual reality. Now let's go into augmented reality. And this is something that is trending big time with ed tech and just with tech nerds and everyone, if you haven't noticed already. But augmented reality, short for AR, is an enhanced version of the real physical world. And it's achieved by using a digital device and having like a lens. And within that lens, you're viewing something that isn't actually there, but you're placing it in the area around you. So this could be different elements, it could be sounds, all kinds of different sensory things with the use of technology. So those of you familiar with like the SAMR model, this is something that cannot be achieved on paper, right? It needs technology in order to make this happen. And it's really cool because then students have the opportunity to get involved with real world items like right in front of them. And so I found, let me go to, actually, those are some examples. Oh man, I don't have the slide. I'm gonna have to get that slide, put it in there. So let's look at examples first. I was gonna say there was all kinds of, I was involved in a Twitter chat that had all kinds of different ways to explain augmented reality, and I'll have to bring it up. But I mean, people are just using it for all kinds of ways, and seeing it in the classroom is just amazing. So here's some examples. This was a story map. This student drew all these items and then was able to place them kind of like, you know, those old shoebox diagram projects that we used to do. Same idea, but I mean, you could just place it and do it right there on your table. So that was pretty cool to see. This is something Rose, Peggy, and I have been doing this week. Virtual reality, we made a C in my room and students made a C in their room. It was super easy to show. Peggy, I don't know if you want to say anything how easy this app was to show students.
It's really easy to demonstrate, and it's easy for them to catch on. They love it.
Yeah, and that's AR Maker. So we had them creating all kinds of things in their house. AR Maker also allows you to create different artwork. This is a cube, and really they're just like painting, thinking of that old paint, Microsoft Paint. It was just called Paint, right? Yep. And painting, and then they created some kind of augmented reality with it. Super fun. This was for Dot Day. They made their drawings come to life. with the Quiver app. And then this is something I did with middle schoolers, and they created a mind map on, I did some app smashing here, and they created this on Poplet first and pulled it over to Keynote and then the AR Maker to create it like as a augmented board. And then I didn't capture this moment, but students were able to like be in front of the board and actually like present it and the different items in their on their food web or whatever they made.
Like
So,
they were in front of a green screen or?
Yeah, similar to a green screen, but it's actually like augmented. So they can be behind it or on the side of it. And it looks like it really appears in that space. So it's a little bit more enhanced than a green screen. See? The librarian at the middle school had students create a visual or an augmented book shelf, as you could say. They scanned the 500 QR, we turned this into QR codes. And once they scanned that, all kinds of different books popped up that had like the inside covers. I think they even took it further to create like video reflections or video trailers in there. So that was really cool. And then this is just an example from today as well. The student was creating a little mermaid scene, I guess, with the creatures right there on their floor. So AR Maker, let's go ahead and have some fun with it. It might still be installing, but if not, then you can just watch. I am gonna go ahead and open up my AR Maker and start. And you can create your own scene, you can add your own pictures, your own drawings even, but I'm just gonna play around with one of these that already has some of those assets in there. So let's go with, I'm gonna do the 3 little pigs today. And I just hit start. I do need to get up, so sorry, Jonathan. You might have to get up. You can try, but I am going to find a space in my office here to create this scene. And I'm just tapping on those dots. And then I have all these that came with AR Maker. So I can just recreate this whole scene here in my office. So I'm tapping on the little piggy. I have to move my actual iPad around to place it. And then I can, on the side here, I can place it up and down vertical. If I want him flying in space, I can put him there. I can move it. And you can also animate. So down here at the bottom, once you place your item, you'll see a couple animations that you can do. So now he's orbiting around my chair. So really, like, go at it and try to make a cool scene in your house there and see what you get. Oh, I downloaded a dinosaur from online, so my dinosaur is going to take over this little brick house.
There's mine, and I'll laugh because behind this little piggy with the red are a pair of shoes that I didn't want you to see, and behind the bush are a pair of house shoes that I didn't want you to see. That's why I was giggling, because I could hide it. Oh, how cute.
There's a shark above my dog.
Very nice.
She's none the wiser.
No, she has no idea. And if they were real, she'd be fine with that too. She'd sleep right through it.
That's cute.
But if you want to add your own picture, then you would just hit on new, and you can add a drawing here. That's where you can add the drawing piece. So it should show up on the side here. Maybe at the bottom. Oh, there it is. And you can add in things. So they can add in like labels and words and some kind of visual if they want. And then under that new is where you can take an instant picture, or you can find pictures from your photo library. The photo library will be right there in files. And that's where I had my dinosaur saved. I wonder if I have anything else cool. I can check mark, use that. And I can place that as well. Now to save your image, you can either screenshot, which is simple, or this little arrow up at the top will, once you tap on that, on the side of your screen, you'll see the photo where it takes pictures, or you can film it. And that one's really nice. I can't do it while I'm on Zoom, but when you do the video, you can have, students can talk, so they can actually like retell a whole story, little pigs, and then a dinosaur came, and it'll save straight to their camera.
Say that again, Tamara. How would you do the recording?
Yeah, let me go back into.
I was trying to figure out this cube thing.
Yeah, so on the left side, you'll see an arrow right above new.
Uh-huh.
And then once you tap that on the right side, you'll have the option and film.
Okay.
It won't work while kids are on Zoom, we've noticed. But like me and Miss Peggy, we had them just take pictures to turn it in. And then we said later, try to do the video and resubmit it. We'll see how many resubmissions we get of video, but as long as they got the picture in, we were happy. Pretty fun, and it's pretty simple. I mean, sometimes apps, they make it real simple and then they start adding way too much. There's too many features. AR Maker has pretty much stayed the same these last couple of years that I've been introduced to it. And it's simple buttons and adding pictures, and you can create something really cool. So there isn't too much to it. They haven't updated too much where it's super advanced, but still workable. So I like it. The next resource I want to show you all is something I created, I believe last year when I got into augmented reality big time. I showed you an example of it. It was a mind map, and this was a book that I created off of it. So it's some app smashing. They took a poplet. It shows the directions on how to take a poplet from Keynote straight to AR Maker. So honestly, you could just put images and create a mind map right within AR Maker, and you don't have to app smash as much. I think I was just showing poplet and it ended up being augmented. So that's where I ended up app smashing a lot. But you can also, a lot of students like to create in Keynote and create images, and then they can use those as little assets to put into their scene. So it's really cool. One of my favorite tech tips I got to show you guys because I think this is really cool. I'm just going to add a slide in Keynote here. And let's say that we want a drawing. I'm just going to draw something real quick. What I can do is I can split screen my photos and Keynote. And I can actually take this drawing and drag it right into my images, and it becomes an image now. So I can use that in AR Maker, or I have it saved anywhere. I could use it in another project. It's saved as an image. So just kind of like a little tech feature there. You can drag and drop anything from Keynote, even like, well, let's see, that's not an image. This is an image. Even a shape or something, you can drop an image right into your photos. But yeah, this is a free book. If you want to check it out, it's a tutorial on how to do these steps. You can even just go to the chapter of using AR Maker and it'll go over what I did. And I think if this link isn't working or this QR code, we can also drop it in the chat, or you can get it on a personal device as well.
It worked, Tamara, the QR code.
You never know.
too.
So here's a couple integration ideas. This came from the book of different subject areas. And I'm thinking mind maps, but you can think anything. Like in literacy, you could think of retelling stories, creating new scenes. So even in PE, like creating positions on a field and students learning those different positions of football players, or I don't know, it could be literally anything that you can paste in that real scene. And then you're welcome to continue playing with AR Maker. The other one that we have available in self-service is called Reality Composer. Very similar. It has a little bit more features. And this just came out last year. So a little bit more new, and it is made by Apple. So a lot of those Apple features like the drag and drop over work really nice. And it looks like an Apple app when you log on to it. So it's the same idea. It helps create interactive AR, and you don't need any coding or 3D experience to use it. So we can drop this tutorial in, but if you want to do it with me, totally fine. If you want to watch this tutorial video, then you can also watch it too. And Rose, were you able to get that link?
It's in the chat, Tamara.
It's in chat. Okay, I lost my chat box. There it is. Cool. So let's check out Reality Composer. It looks like that gray box. And when I go into it, it has that Apple view of, if you use GarageBand or any of those apps, you want to look for that plus sign to start a new project. And I just know the basics of Reality Composer. If you find something really cool and want to shout out or wondering about something, then yeah, let us know. I can either look it up or find or ask Paul Hamilton to help me out or something. I have a lot of friends that are totally into AR and know so much. So any questions, bring them on. So I'm gonna start real basic and just use the horizontal one, anchor. That's the only one I've used before. And right away it gives you a box here, a 3D box. So you can play with that box if you want. I'm gonna just delete it because I want something cooler. So to delete is just a tap, another tap, and delete. Now you see here that it looks kind of like a graphing paper. So right away I think math, and I'm like, oh my gosh, students can just like plot math, you know, like on a graph plotting, you know? So I don't know, that comes to my mind right away, but let's get to the fun part. And up here is a plus sign. And that's gonna allow you to add any object that are preloaded into Reality Composer. One of my favorites is, let's see if it's here. There's some space ones, really cool. I was playing with the rocket earlier though. I'm gonna choose rocket. You could choose whatever you want and you can move it wherever you want. So these colorful dots help you move it where you want. The green one is up and down. The red one side to side, blue front to back. So try to add an object there on your workspace. And then I'm gonna add a behavior. So behaviors are like adding animation. You could call it animation or behavior. Reality Composer calls it behaviors. But to add a behavior, it's gonna be this little arrow pointing right with like a sun, I guess. And now we can add plus sign behavior. I usually just go straight to custom. You can play around with all of them, but I'm gonna do custom. And my trigger is going to be when the scene starts. So when I push play, it's gonna do its animation right away. And then the action is gonna be in this box. I do need to select my item. And I'm just gonna have it move. Let's see if that's the one I want. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have it move, and instead of sideways, I'm gonna make it move up. Ooh, that's weird. Let's see if I can get it to go. And I'm pinching out to get to zoom in and out. Okay. When I push play, I see my little rocket. And then the fun part before you guys start playing around is this AR button here. I can tap that and actually put it in my setting here. So I am going to, I guess it'll go right there. I can move it anywhere. Put it on, yeah, I like it there. And then when I push play, whew, that went fast. There it goes. So give it a try it out. See how I put photos over Reality Composer with the split, not split screen, but slide over. And I could grab this little photo that I drew and it should go in. Here it is. It always goes in flat, your photos, but we can make it vertical if I can find it. And to make it vertical, you just tap and then you tap on the green cone and you can bring it up. Well, it's a little tricky. It might be the blue cone. One of the cones.
Blue cone, I think, drags it forward, right? Towards you.
Oh, it kind of did it. It tilted it sideways. Now I need to tilt it front. Wait, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, so you just tap it twice and mess with that circle and it'll show vertical now. So yeah, continue playing. Let me know how it goes or what you find. On the screen, I just put some other apps. I've gotten app drunk with downloading all these AR apps myself. And I'll tell you the best ones I've come across. There's a ton that are cool. Like I was looking for a dinosaur unit one and there was some cool AR ones, but they had a lot of ads and you had to like purchase and a lot of in-app purchases. So these ones are all free and except for the Sky Guide one. The rest are all free and don't come with any ads, I don't think. And so they're fun to play with. The Google Translate is I consider AR because you can hover over anything and like pretty much translate it to a lot of different languages, the text. So I see it as AR. The night sky one, it's really cool. You just hover over the sky or even below you and see what constellations are out there and planets and where they are.
My brother has that on his cell phone.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I think that was a paid one.
He visits me down here because he can see the stars down here compared to back up in Wisconsin.
There you go. Jig Space, I think I mentioned this one to you, Jonathan, earlier when you were doing the Inventors unit. Jig Space is really cool. It has all kinds of different items and it takes them apart and you can like really see and go in how things are made. And so it's really fun to play with. And Rose, do you have a favorite AR VR app?
I was just looking, the scavenger one isn't that the one that we did in my front yard this past summer?
We did, yeah.
Fun.
Hey, is that scavenger one? Is that how they do Pokemon Go?
Kind of. It's the same idea. You have to like find little wormholes to go to, and it's like a little hunt, and you get points. Did we get points or something?
Yeah, and it shows it like when you walk through the wormhole. I think it was stars or confetti or something would pop up. It was really cool.
Yeah, we have all kinds of different ones. And I think it's like you assign it to them like as a code and they go in and they could do it like in their front yard. They just like pick a spot and they're able to go on their little hunt.
I think it gave clues too, didn't it, Tamara?
Say again?
I think it had clues also. We had to answer questions.
Yeah, it was kind of tricky, but fun.
Hey, Tamara, can you show me again how you took your drawing from Keynote and then just drug it into your folder, into your photos?
Yeah, let's check that out. So I have this drawing I drew, And then I'm gonna split screen to my photos.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is hold down that item and then drag it on over.
That's what I tried to do.
Is it a drawing or what kind
Oh,
of?
I got it. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Okay. I'm thinking, I don't know if shapes work. Let me see if a shape works. I mentioned that and then I was like, wait, I don't know. I think it did, except it's a white shape, so that wasn't smart.
Yes, it does.
You have to let it pop. Yeah. So you can make shapes images, which is kind of cool because those of you that use like placeholders, it has to be an image to be a media placeholder. And then you could bring it back the same way. So now it's an image rather than a shape. So yeah, you're welcome to play for the next, we have 5 more minutes. And if you want to book a session or co-teach or just have like a fun Friday AR day, then I would love to come in. So have fun, you know, do what you want, make what you want, be what you want.
You're so inspirational.